Well, it looks like Gracie's been hard at it, digging stuff out of the pantry and the cupboards to get ready for the evening meal. Yeah, we gotta cook. Don't pay attention to that stuff she's got stacked up to the left. That's gonna be for the main entree later this evening. But she's also got out what we gotta do right now, and I thought I would share it with all of you. Like, how does an engineer cook up his rice? And I need some rice for tonight's meal. Yep, I do. Rather than put it in with the main entree, I'm going to be using it to put the main entree on. So I just need to cook up some rice. And I don't use the microwavable rice. That stuff that comes in the little cups, bowls, and pouches. I mean, they even have boil in a bag rice. And of course, that parboiled rice, minute rice and Uncle Ben's. No, what I use is just plain and simple, enriched, long grain, white rice. Yes, I do. And I like to flavor my rice, depending on the dish. And I got me a little old chicken bouillon cube. Got my measuring cup. Got my little rice pot. Nope, don't have a rice cooker. Don't need one. This here little pot's cooked a many a meal of rice in it. Of course, I got some cooking spray to just make sure my rice don't stick. So yeah, I figured I'd show you how I cook up some rice, and maybe you'll share with me how you do. So let's get it all started. It ain't hard. Almost anyone can do it. Well, I gotta get started. Time to waste it. Oh, well, hello there, friends and family. Once again, I didn't see you sneak past the kitty crew. You're bribing them again, aren't you? But hey, we're always glad you came, and you're always welcome here in the little old country kitchen. So if you got a moment, and you want to, pull up a chair, grab a snack and a cold drink, and I'll show you what we're up to. It's not hard. But apparently, for some, they're rice challenged, and they gotta, use that parboiled rice that's been pre-cooked for you, and it's actually dehydrated as well after they cook it up, and all you're doing is rehydrating it and heating it up. But that's okay too. But I just prefer the real deal with my meals, and it's all so easy. Let me show you what I do. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray my pot, because I know that looks like a black pot. You might think it's non-stick, but it's not. This is a steel black anodized pot that I've had for over 40 years. And I know sometimes my rice may stick. So this is olive oil cooking spray. And I just give it a generous spray. And that ensures no rice will stick. Now, if you're familiar with cooking rice, you'll understand cooking rice is simple. The measurements are easy. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. And what do I mean? Well, it's 1 part rice to 2 parts water. Of course, you can use broth if you want to. And like I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be flavoring it up with some chicken bouillon. But you can use anything you want to. And since it's just me, and I'm cooking for one, which is real difficult, as you may know, I don't need a whole lot of rice. So instead of using 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water, tonight we're going to be using 1/3 a cup of enriched long grain rice to a tad over 2/3 of a cup water. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. Why I use a little bit more than that 2-to-1 ratio. Now another thing to consider, especially since you're cooking for 1 or maybe 2, is also to remember the ratio of uncooked rice to cooked rice. You know, what's the cooked yield after you're done? And that's another simple proportional ratio. It's 1 to 3. Yep. So if you got 1 cup of uncooked rice, it'll make 3 times. A little over that much. So I'm going to be using 1/3 of a cup. It just happened to be what I had in that little bag. Right there. And I'm just going to dump it in. I'm going to turn my burner on. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get me some water. A little over 2/3 of a cup, and I'll explain why. Now I went ahead and went with 3/4. A little over that 2-to-1 ratio. And the reason I do that is because by the time this comes up to a boil, I'll lose some of that water. Yes, I will. So I add a little bit of extra to compensate for what I lose, just bringing it up to a boil. And you're going to want to bring that on up to a nice boil. And once we reach a boil, we got to do one thing, and it's very important. And I'll show it to you. And we're just going to take our bouillon cube, drop it on into. Give our rice a little stirry. Mix it right up. Now I do not rinse my rice. I know some of you are going to get on to me about that, but I don't. Now you can rinse your rice to decrease the amount of starch. Which the more starch, the stickier your rice can be. But I don't mind. Mine seems to come out as fluffy as can be. So I don't rinse. I just drop it on in straight out of the bag. Hasn't seemed to bother me in 69 years so far. So we're just going to let that pot come up to a nice boil, and then we'll proceed with the next step. Another thing to note is if you want your water to boil faster, put the lid on. But don't go nowhere, because once you put this lid on, it don't take long. And you'll wind up making you a rice pancake instead of nice fluffy rice. Stand and listen and watch. In fact, you can give it just a little bit of a crack so you can see the steam just to start. Now if you look real closely, you can see my water is just starting to boil. My bouillon cube is starting to melt and flavor up that rice with some yummy chicken flavor that will go along with the main entree and main course tonight. So what we're going to do now is we're going to place back on our lid just like this, and we're going to turn down the heat on very low. In fact, I put it on the knob that says low. Can't go no lower than that. And I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes. And I'm not going to bother this pot of rice, not one bit at all, for that entire 15 minutes. And I know it's hard. I know you want to peek, but you can't. Because see, steam builds up underneath this lid to a certain PSI, which helps that water and flavoring penetrate the rice and rehydrate it. Oh yeah. So you don't want to remove the lid. Whatever you do, go watch Mr. Tom on YouTube and set your timer too. And we'll be back when the timer goes off and see what we got. Well, the timer's going off. Now, did y'all peek and look underneath the lid? Did you? I hope not. Because if you ever peek, you could screw it all up. Well, let's check it out and see what our rice looks like. Woo, look at that, look at that. Woo, can you see that? Oh my. Let me show it to you. Right on down there. Look at that. All those grains are separated, all moist and puffed up. Time to turn off the heat. Wasn't that so simple? Yep. There you go. It's the simple ways that often get us the best results. So there you have it. We got our rice, one serving for our main course tonight. Would you like to know what we're up to and what the entree is for tonight? Well, I'm going to let you guess based on what you saw that Gracie already had out. The only thing she left out was the meat that we'll be using tonight in the entree. And it's going to be quite special. And maybe it's something you've done before or may never have done ever in your life. We'll just have to wait and see. But now, cover up your rice so it doesn't dry out. Take it off that hot burner and switch it out. Because we got a whole different pan where the entree will be cooking up. So yeah, friend and family, that didn't take very long, did it? And it was so simple to do. The secret is, in my mind, making sure you have a little bit extra liquid to compensate for what boils off before that water comes to a boil, and then placing that lid on and not disturbing it, not peeking. I know it's hard. I always want to, but when I don't, it comes out just fine. And as always, we got to give it a taste test, don't we? Because I like to show you in my facial expressions whether it's good or not. And woo, she's steaming hot. So we'll have to give her a few blows, okay? Woo, it smells chickeny. And that'll work out just right. Let's give it a taste test. Each grain is separated. I didn't have to rinse it a bit. It ain't sticking together. Can you imagine that? And it's so flavorful just with that chicken bouillon cube. Yeah, I could just sit down and eat a bowl of this and I'd be just fine. But it'll be so better topped with what I'm making later tonight. So hey y'all, until I, the kitty crew, you know, Cleo, Spooky, Fluffy Muffin, and my little princess of the house, Gracie, see you on the next video and episode of Mr. Tom's Neighborhood. Y'all take care, stay safe out there, and may God bless you all as you bless those in your lives. We love you for stopping by and all you do to make our life better too. And with all that said, we're going to bid you adieu and say goodbye for now till we see you on that next episode of Mr. Tom's Neighborhood. Yeah, I mean, that come out just right. Comes out just right. Every time. It ain't hard. Later all.